democracy is a Taghut. And it's the modern day idol that people worship. And it goes against the essence of Islam. It contradicts the purpose which we were created for. Our creation was, as everyone says, everyone knows it, but not many apply it. Our creation was for nothing but submission and obedience to the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. A system like democracy, which places human legislation over the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has overstepped its bounds, and that exemplifies the clearest definition of a Taghut. Democracy stands among the foremost Taghut of our time. It's not something you can remain neutral about. Whoever doesn't reject or disassociate from that Taghut hasn't truly believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One who doesn't reject the Taghut of democracy hasn't believed in Allah. In one of the verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the disbelief, the Kufr in the Taghut before belief in Him. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Democracy contradicts the Quran and Sunnah. And even when they adopt some rulings that exist in the Quran and Sunnah, its basis is not submission to Allah. They accept it because it aligns with their democracy and secularism. And they only permit what the masses want. They don't take from the Quran and Sunnah because they're sacred, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered that, but because the people will it. Because the public approves it. Because the parliament and representatives consent to it. Because it conforms to their constitution. So revelation is not the authority to them. Human will is. What greater insult could there be than to submit the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, to the deliberation or vote or approval of creation? When people must examine and approve and vote on the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's them and their constitution that is supreme, not the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that, democracy places human will over and above the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in a nutshell, democracy subjects nothing to the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It gives no consideration whatsoever to the legislation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If some aspects conform to the desires of the people or the limits of their constitutions, they may take it. Not because it's sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which democratic country would allow the punishment for ridda in their constitution? Allah or a bill like that wouldn't even be proposed from the start, because it contradicts the very essence of their democracy. Which country would mandate hijab, for example? None. None. Not a single country that believes in democracy would mandate hijab, because such legislation would be rejected outright, because it conflicts with their filthy, tainted ideals of freedom and with their democracy. And the list goes on. Democracy legislates and protects and serves and punishes according to human-made rules, and that's kufr and shirk.